Hello, I'm Maisie McDonough and I'm an ambassador for Politico's EU Studies and Careers Fair. Today I'm joined by Letizia, who works for the council. So that must be such an interesting job. Can you remind us what the council does and what your role is within the council?
Yes, hi, good afternoon. So my name is Letizia, and the Council is the Council of the EU is one of the three main institutions in the European Union. So it's the place where actually representatives from the 27 member states come together and take decisions. And it's also the place where the same building that hosts the Council of the EU hosts also the European Council. That's where the heads of states and government come together quite often lately to take decisions and guide politically the European Union. What I do at the council, I am a digital editor and I work in the digital communications team. So we are responsible for the content that you see on the website of the council and on the social media.
So if we talk about your educational background now, so you studied in Siena, Leeds and Bologna. So can you tell us why you picked the courses you chose, and did you choose the courses based on a particular career path?
So yes, I studied in Siena and Bologna, and I took the path of communications, and then I actually well, I loved communications. I actually had a dream to become a journalist, so that's how I started my path. But then I ended up in a quite different place. So I guess it went along with me.
So I know you participated in the Erasmus scheme. Can you tell us what your experience was like and what was the main thing you took from it?
Yes, so I did my Erasmus in Leeds in the UK, and well, I enjoyed it the most. I had a full year academic year in Leeds, so from September to June, and I took away loads of friends and loads of multicultural experiences, and most of all, I think I took away also the opportunity to study in an Anglo-Saxon university. That was for me a great experience, and it improved my language skills enormously and also my research skills. So I was very, very happy to have taken part in the Erasmus.
So after your bachelor's, you went straight on to a master's. Did you ever consider gaining work experience beforehand, or was you more in the academic flow to continue?
Yeah, in Italy, it's not very common to interrupt your studies or to have a gap year. I think it's becoming more and more popular, but at the time, it was just not the thing you would do. But I actually got an inspiration from a lot of friends who were studying abroad to do this. In the end, I didn't choose from it, but if I would go back, I would probably take maybe a year off and do some either like in-depth internship or like even a work experience. I never worked during my studies, and that was a big shock when I entered the job market after my studies. So it would be good, I think, to take a gap year.
So you've worked for various organisations. What are you most passionate about, and why did you decide to go to Brussels?
Yeah, maybe I work for too many organizations and I have too much passions. But yeah, I guess that my biggest passion and the red thread along my work path is actually working in communications. So that's something that I've done for different organizations and in different settings. But I always kept this true passion of myself of like trying to communicate to people the good things of these organizations and what these organizations were doing. Brussels happened a bit by mistake, I think. I've always in the Euro message, but I haven't. I have never like built my way to Brussels specifically or to the EU headquarters. I just wanted to do something related to young people and something related to Europe, and there was this opportunity to do it through an organization that was organizing an event at the European Parliament with young journalists, and that's how I ended up here. And I love the vibe, I love the place, and then I looked for jobs here, and I stayed. I had my luggage packed for 5 months. I stayed, well, almost 12 years now.
So what were the main skills you acquired at university that you use today?
That's a $1 million question. I think Well, the main really having understanding of how communications works. So this was the core of my studies. But I have to say that actually most of the skills that you get, you really get on the job. And so the basis of the university, it's only good, let's say, to make yourself confident or to sort of introduce you to a topic. But then I needed to build my own skills on the day-to-day life and in the day-to-day job. But that's okay. I think it's part of life. And that's why it's important that during university studies, you anyways do something else and keep your ears and antennas really open for any input that comes from outside.
So how important do you think language skills are to work in the European Union and major international organizations?
I think languages are key. I mean, I speak right now 3.5, let's say. So I speak Italian, my mother tongue, English, French, and a little bit of Dutch. So these languages are really essential, and especially English and French, I really use every day. And Italian helps me to keep connected with my home country. So I think it's really, and Dutch helps me actually to keep connected with Belgium as well. So I think it's really important, especially when you work in a European institution or in an international organization, to be able to understand different cultures and different worlds, and to be able to pick up signals and read news, for example, or simply connect with people with a different language. So that's really important for me. And I think nowadays work environments are more and more international. There is always a colleague that it's from somewhere else, and I think being able to put yourself in his or her shoes, it's really key to work well together.
So there's obviously not one particular career path you can follow. Are the career paths of your colleagues quite different from your own?
We are a specialized team, so we work specifically on digital communications. So a lot of us had a similar career path, but that's not a given. For example, a lot of my colleagues have a career path that is more oriented to European studies or law or European law, whilst some others like me have a more specific communications background and not really a European background. So it really depends, and I think more and more there is very unconventional career paths, and for me this was the case because I never only wanted to be a European institution official. I've been working for NGOs and for youth organizations, and private companies. So that's also something to cherish. I think the diversity of a career path, and not be afraid to change for what your passion is.
Could you tell us if there's any personal qualities you think one should have to work in the council?
I believe that working for any European institutions, you would need to have to be open-minded, be hardworking, be enthusiastic about the European project, and ultimately to just be open to learn, to learn more, because every day is different, and who knows where the European Union will be in 5 or 10 years.
Can you tell me about your work experiences that you've benefited from?
I believe I benefited from all my work experiences in a way. They made who I am and who I am professionally, but also personally. But I think what I benefited the most is actually being really open to new ideas and innovation, and trying to always bring my own passion into what I do. So that's my biggest advice for people that get into a career, to try and always bring what you like into what you have to do.
Would you like to say anything to young people interested in a career in European affairs?
Just one thing, I think we need you. I think we need more passionate young people that want to become experts in European affairs, and you're very welcome. And if you ever come to Brussels, give me a call.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciated it, and I think a lot of people will benefit from this interview.
Thank you.